One of your rights just taken away, perhaps, in one state. Indiana's Supreme Court just ruled that police can enter homes without a warrant for any justifiable reason, in their estimation. But what about the Fourth Amendment that guarantees Americans the right to be secure in our homes? Let's talk to Fox News legal judicial analyst and host of Freedom Watch on the Fox Business Network, Judge Andrew Napolitano. We're talking about the case of Barnes versus State of Indiana.
Yeah, this is a case where a guy owns a home and he's having a fight with his girlfriend. It's not a fist fight, it's a verbal altercation. He takes her cell phone and throws it on the floor. Didn't hit her, didn't hurt her, didn't aim at her. She calls 911, the police come, and he leaves the apartment. Police say, he says, what are you doing here? To the police. They said, we're going in your apartment. He said, do you have a warrant? They say no. He said, you're not going in. Whereupon they tasered him, unconscious, and went in the apartment. The girlfriend was screaming, and she threw them out. So the police left with him unconscious. The question is, can the police go into a home without a search warrant from a judge, without a belief that a crime is occurring, and without an emergency situation? And for years, the answer to that has been no, the police can't do it. The Indiana Supreme Court in the state of Indiana changed the law late last week to allow the police to enter without a search warrant, without a belief that a crime is occurring, and in a non-emergency situation. They went in that home just because a phone call was made.
You know, some people would say, well, that would mean the police would go into a home unlawfully. But the court also yesterday said that if they do go into a home for any reason, the recourse that the homeowner has is, if they don't like it, they can take him to court.
Well, that's basically what will happen here. Of course, they're taking the police to court because of the excessive tasering and the knocking of him unconscious when there was no violence at all. This is a value judgment. The Supreme Court of Indiana made a determination that the right of the police to follow their hunches and enter a private home is a greater good in society than the right of a homeowner to have dominion over his private property. That's the opposite of what the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution stand for.
This cannot hold up on appeal.
I don't think it will hold up on appeal. The bad news is that this is the law in Indiana. Now, it's also the law in half the states in the Union. It's already the law in our home state of New Jersey. Hopefully, the Supreme Court of the United States will change it. This is a state court interpreting the federal Constitution differently than the federal Supreme Court has interpreted the federal Constitution. We'll see what happens to it.
Oh, man. What's happening tonight in your program?
Charlie Rangel and I go toe-to-toe on whether or not there should be a draft and whether or not the president should raise taxes. Could you imagine him trying to defend those two positions today?
Well, he's been talking about the draft for a very long time. It should be a great debate. Watch it tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Fox Business Network.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, sir.
Is Kilmeade still here?
Yeah, he'll be back in a couple of minutes.
All right.
Meanwhile, we've got some bombshell news from